What's up, Amber? This is a good question. Amber said, "If I feel like even if he wins, we still have to deal with a lot. This isn't going to go away." Exactly. Let's start on that note, because even with the stuff that's going on, I know a lot of people are blaming Trump, but I posted earlier the picture of Trump where it's like him and it says, they're pretending to be after me, but I'm just in a way, they're really coming after you. And that's really what it is. Even with this whole police brutality discussion, Black Lives Matter actually started during the Obama era. That's when Black Lives Matter started. And the progressive ideology, I think, was going to get to this point anyway. Trump just happens to be here. So I think they're scapegoating Trump for all of their problems and issues. But I don't really think any of this would have changed even if he wasn't there. I just think he's the easy target because he's everything that they're kind of fighting against. Straight, white, male, Christian, conservative, funny, they hate comedy. They want to cancel Dave Chappelle, this person. He's everything that they hate. A comedian, funny guy, Christian, conservative, you get it. But it's not going to change. It's going to take a lot. But let's start with the media, because I talk about it all the time. First of all, I can't stand, and we started yesterday's chat with this, but I can't stand how they just feed people fear. Even if bad things are happening, as an authoritative figure like a President Trump or a mainstream media, I believe it's your job to keep the public safe, healthy, and, not just scared. Even if it's a crisis, like, hey, we got this under control. We're the authority. We'll do the good reporting. We'll lead you. The fact that they're always fear-mongering is just so negative and unhealthy. It's just disgusting at a base spiritual level what they're doing. It's disgusting. I don't know how these people live with themselves or when they're going to stop doing this, but the fear aspect of it is just gross, politics aside. Politics not aside, Trump is not running against Joe Biden, just like Trump was not running against Hillary Clinton. There's a bigger power behind everything, of course. I'm not going to even get into that, but he's really in many ways running against the mainstream media. Trump loves to do his rallies. Conveniently, he's not allowed to do them right now in big capacity. Isn't that interesting? Trump's economy was doing great. It's not that great. Isn't it interesting that every advantage Trump had on Joe Biden was just magically erased and destroyed by COVID-19? Wow, what a convenient virus for certain politicians. Isn't that so? When you can't even fill up a school and your opponent can fill up an arena, and now you're not allowed to really go to arenas for a couple months. Isn't that just convenient? But that aside, Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden had a very similar strategy against Trump, which is Trump is hands-on everywhere, tweeting every day, talking on every news show, at every arena. The guy won't stop talking. Personally, I love it. Some might not. I like it. They don't do that. They hide behind media. They hide behind celebrities, Jay-Z, Beyonce, CBS, NBC, MSNBC. And they don't really do press conferences that often. I believe Hillary broke a record with not doing them, and it looks like Biden, he's hiding as well. I don't know how many weeks have gone by that he hasn't done, a speech or a press conference talking to reporters. I don't know the exact number, so I don't want to say it, but the reason they're doing that is because they're not real candidates in the sense of, like, Trump is a guy with a plan. He has advisors. He doesn't listen to them. He says what he wants. He's off the cuff. He's talking about the Koch brothers. Trump is like a real guy. Regardless of what you think of him, I don't think he has advisors writing up, hey, Trump, why don't you tweet at the Koch brothers and tell them that they're, overrated and you don't need their money. I don't think there's a team that tells Trump to do that. I think he just does it. Like, I think he's like, I'm going to say this right now. And they're like, oh, please don't. And he just does it. He's a real person. Biden, Hillary, they don't really have the same energy Trump has where they win, or they want to win, try to win, by hiding behind the media. The media is who Trump's running against. It's CBS, MSNBC, CNN, Washington Post, New York Times, all the celebrities, all the activism, the Black Lives Matter type activism. That's who Trump's running against. Biden just hides, doesn't talk to anybody because he wants people to think that he's what they're doing. He's moving against not just the television stations, not just the activist groups, not just the celebrities, but also social media. If you look at, say, there was a checklist. I forget who put it out. I think it was actually the Democratic Party from their official Twitter. They put out a checklist of what each social media is doing right and what they're not doing, aka this social media is capitulating with us and this one's not. Facebook scored the worst out of the Democratic Party's checklist. The reason is, and I've told you this before, although Facebook may be corrupt, it may have its problems, it's good to me personally, maybe it's not good to you, but Facebook does not listen to the Democratic Party as much as possible. Last election, they had a featured news section. The whole thing was propaganda, and I'm sure the Democratic Party loved that. Facebook got rid of the news section, and they gave a bunch of money to local news, which is historically better than corporate news, like mainstream news. And now Facebook doesn't rig it enough. That's why they're pressuring Facebook's advertisers to make them cave. That's why they're constantly complaining to Zuckerberg, saying he needs to quit, Hillary should take over, whoever. They have a checklist of what they want, and Facebook is not cooperating completely. Google's almost completely cooperating. Snapchat is ridiculous. If you look, or you know somebody that has one, look in the side stories sometime, or if it's not, you might be 50 years old and never even heard of the app, but whatever. It's all left-wing propaganda. It's all anti-Trump, Black Lives Matter, like they're using not just the mainstream media, traditional outlets, not just celebrity culture, but they're actually getting these social media sites that have millions upon billions of people working with them or looking at them every day. They're pushing their news to the front. On YouTube, if you search, it's authoritative figures come first, the CNNs, the people that they want you to see, and they're deleting channels left and right. Stefan Molyneux got deleted yesterday, although he's made a comment about my hair before, which is odd because he doesn't have any, so it seems like a little bit of a jealousy thing, no offense. But anyway, Stefan, me and him don't agree on everything, but he shouldn't have been deleted. I mean, he's a philosopher, political analyst. He's pretty harmless. His biggest crime is wrongthink. He calmly says what he believes, and he calmly states what they don't want him to state, and that's why they deleted his channel. And they keep going further and further. So the point I'm trying to make is, most people don't even realize Joe Biden is not the candidate of the Democratic Party. He's just the forward front figure who they have determined, I guess, won his right to get there. The people voted for him, and then Pete Buttigieg and everyone dropped out and let him win, and Bernie couldn't make it. It's really the media. He just sits in the back and hopes that they can spew out enough anti-Trump, racial, divisive, one-sided viewpoints to make people think that Trump is so horrible that Joe Biden is a better candidate, despite his track record. And the funniest part is, I think the word racist is overused for Biden and for Trump, but the funniest part is, on racial issues, Joe Biden could not be a worse candidate when it comes to his crime bill, when it comes to his past. If you're trying to appease the Black Lives Matter crowd and this new woke progressivism, I can't think of a worse person than Joe Biden. So the fact that they're even having him, that's how much audacity that they have as far as the media brainwashing is so strong. They think that Joe Biden can win. The guy can't really talk that well. He's stuttering, and Trump messes up sometimes, but Joe Biden's like a whole new level. There's a reason he's not doing press conferences, and I guarantee you, if they're taking winning seriously, they're going to try to figure out a way to cancel the debates or make it so people don't watch. I'm not saying for sure, but there's no way this guy could stand on a stage and talk to Trump for 2 hours. He's going to get roasted. It's going to be the funniest comedy show of the year. They have to be panicking behind closed doors to figure out a way to not get that happening. I can't say that for sure. That's just my intuition. However, Trump is running against the media. Joe Biden's just the guy that they're like, we could put anybody there. We'll put him there, and we'll just pump out this into people's brains, and hopefully they go vote blue. And on that note, it's not just the candidate that they're really running. It's what controls the culture. For instance, outside of the death of George Floyd, we've talked about it a lot. Everybody's talked about it, controversy, feelings, emotion. I don't want to talk about it. I've already done it enough times, but that was one instance that was not a favorable instance at all to anybody, a horrible event. That was one instance that they were able to turn into, 2 to 3 months of news, press, activism, celebrity outrage. And the reason I'm bringing that up is because every day thousands of people die. In America, 2 to 3 million people die every year. If you talk about preventable deaths and crazy deaths, there's probably hundreds in this country every single day. But the media has so much power with Snapchat, with Twitter, with YouTube, all capitulating to them, with most mainstream media, with SNL that will write the skits about Russia or Ukraine. When they say something about Russia and Ukraine in Washington Post, they put out a report in Washington Post or New York Times. The opposite one, New York Times or Washington Post, they'll report on what they just reported, then everyone reports on that, and then it's a thing, and then celebrities talk about it, and then SNL talks about it. No matter how true it is or not, if it has an anonymous source, you can't even say it's real, like the Ukraine thing where Schiff said something, and then they found out it wasn't, and he's like, oh no, I was just doing a parody. It's like he got caught not telling the truth. Oh, it's a parody of what it was. No, you said something that you didn't think they'd call you on. They called you on it. You knew it wasn't real, so you had to say it was a parody. They just parrot each other nonstop. So the point I'm getting to is with the George Floyd event, they were able to take one bad scenario and turn it into 2 months. And we're virtually powerless against this until enough people realize what they're doing, which it's starting to spread. Even Ice Cube, I don't agree with 80% of what he says, but that 20%, he's on fire. Like, he's getting through the cracks while just, it's good to see, although I don't agree with a lot what he's saying, that finally big names are stepping up and realizing who the media really is and what they really do. And it's not favorable to anybody. And in general, if enough people will do what they say, they'll never stop. It's like you could have, for instance, after the George Floyd death, you had David Dorn, a black police officer. He looked like Carl Winslow. He looked like a really nice guy, was murdered. Yesterday, you had somebody shot in St. Louis. I'm sure it happens all the time. Today, you had somebody shot in Utah by these protesters that keep surrounding people's car. They surround your car like a mob. You have to leave because you don't want to get beat up. And then you leave, and then they act like you hit them randomly. It's disgusting that they're doing this tactic. This stuff happens all the time. Conservatives bring it up. Unfortunately, that's the only time it comes up in debate, but they have a whole website about it in Chicago. Every weekend you have over a dozen people dying, 8 people, 9 people, 10 people, kids getting shot in the car with their mother. Disgusting stuff, like beautiful, souls that, never get their story heard because there's not a racial or political agenda behind it. This stuff happens all the time. The point I'm trying to get to is the media controls the minds of the masses. They control the culture. They're not only fighting Trump, they are able to make any story what they want. And in general, you could see their true agenda when you fight against it. I'll give you an example. Terry Crews seems like a nice Christian man. I'm not quite sure he's a Christian, but I think so. Regardless, he seems like a decent person. He's got a wife. Like, he's one of the traditional, celebrities that just seems kind of like a nice guy. He tweeted something today. I can't quote it exactly, but it was something along the lines of, I'm a God-fearing man. I love all my brothers and sisters of God. And he basically said, let's not turn Black Lives Matter into Black Lives Better. His message was, of course, we should love and treat everybody with respect. I agree with Black Lives Matter, but let's make sure we don't forget about all our brothers and sisters. It was a beautiful message. 5 years ago, 2 years ago, 10 years ago, in the history of humanity, any sane, rational person would have looked at that and been like, I agree with that. That's how I feel. I feel like, I don't look out for white or part Hispanic people or look out for men or, I'm not tribal in that sense. I'm an American, but at the end of the day, I care about everybody. I don't want to unnecessarily hurt anybody of any race, religion, or gender just because they disagree with me. I think that's disgusting. So I agree with what, it's a basic statement what Terry Crews said. Next thing you know on Twitter, because it's all, they control the top little featured news section. And it's always left-wing propaganda. But they said Terry Crews gets canceled by Black Lives Matter activists. And it's like they're outraged at the fact he said, I'm a God-fearing man. I love everybody, all my my godly brothers and sisters. Let's not turn this into Black Lives Better. That's a controversial statement. Why is that a controversial statement? Because the culture, which is now Twitter, Facebook, Google, YouTube, all of these corporations, McDonald's, they're the wokest of them all. It's like, stop serving people garbage. How about you save some lives that way? You'll save 1,000 lives a day if you stop serving garbage to people, but I'm the wokest. It's all of them who are now being pushed further and further left-wing by a Marxist group. Black Lives Matter is not a black group that represents the feelings of black people across the world. If you polled black people across the world and black people in America and went topic by topic, I highly doubt that they would be in the majority even in the black community, let alone in America. They're a Marxist group, which is a progressive socialist / communist ideological group that's pushing far left-wing politics, admittingly so. Look at their website. It's nothing to do with just what black people feel. They're using black activism as a way to push their political ideology, and they admit that. So they're controlling the culture. And the reason Terry Crews gets thrown under the bus by making a godly, loving, beautiful statement is because their agenda is not everybody matters, and we want to treat people with respect, and we value the soul of every individual, and we might hate the wicked white man, but we love the good white man. We might hate the wicked, elite, but we love the good wealthy people. Their message is not that. Their message is a wicked message of, we hate all these people. We hate all the rich. We hate all the white people. We hate all the men. We hate all the... They're so hateful that Terry Crews, a black man, just said, I love my people of God, all my brothers and sisters, and let's make sure we don't go crazy with this movement. That made them mad because they're not righteous people. They're not people looking for that. I don't like Jeff Bezos. I don't like Bill Gates. I'm not a fan of, George you-know-what. I don't want to say it or they'll accuse me of being an anti-Semite. I'm not a fan of a lot of billionaires. However, I actually know billionaires that I do like. I like Kanye West. My buddy Jesse Itzler is a very successful man and a very great guy. I would say he's better than 99% of these protesters. He might have $1 billion, but he fights, big agriculture and poisonous, children's food. He's a great guy from what I know. I've never really fully met him, but we've chatted and he was a fan of my music. We've done a little work together. I don't hate him because he has a bunch of money, and you shouldn't treat people like that. $1 million, $1 billion, $10, $5. Treat people by the content of their character. Treat people by their soul, their spirit, how they act. You don't have to like everybody, but you don't have to hate everybody either. And you certainly shouldn't hate people based on their skin color or their sexuality or look down on others. And that's who they are. And that's what they feel. And that's who's driving the culture. And that's who's running against Trump. And they'll never stop until they're stopped by enough people saying no to the media, no to these Marxists, no to these spoiled, bratty, and in some cases criminal people who want to attack your car and then play the victim. And it's just gross that they've been able to hijack the culture. But people need to realize that, because when it comes to the president, he's not just running against Joe Biden, he's running against a corrupt establishment, but he's really running against the media who controls the culture, who is now being controlled by people who have a specific ideology. And if you look at Marxism, you don't have, listen, I'll have a debate about communism, socialism, capitalism. They've all done bad things. Capitalism's crony. Imperialism is, horrible. I'm down with the whole thing. I'm not like a capitalist is amazing. I'm not that type of person. I get it. Every ideology has a bad thing. But Marxism has had its very big flaws. The Bolshevik Revolution, you've had the communist situation in Russia with Stalin, you've had Mao. There's been tens of millions of people who have been negatively affected by it, and it works on a small scale with your family. And, in bigger situations, the government almost always takes advantage of it because obviously it's like in Chaz. Who runs Chaz? Is it the lowest socialist who says, I'm going to share it all with myself? No, it's going to be the strongest person on the ground will take advantage of you, because that's just how the world works. So it's like, did everybody share? No, eventually people got shot. Why? Because when you have no rules and you decide to then create anarchy, to then create communism, say, let's spread it all equally, it doesn't work, because human nature just doesn't work like that. So, eventually you'll figure that out. And with their, utopian ideas of universal health care, it sounds beautiful. Everyone deserves health care, absolutely. But what universal health care is in practice is government control over the health industry. It's elimination of private insurance. It's basically an entire monopoly on the health industry, and then they don't allow you to opt out. So in California, for instance, I have to buy health care. I can't say, you know what, I'm a healthy guy. I don't trust the big pharma. I don't really trust the health industry. I don't want to buy into this system because I eat good, I exercise, I'll pay for my hospital bills. Maybe I could go to a separate side doctor that I trust more and spend my money there and, enjoy my life as a free citizen. Socialists don't let you do that. In California, they say, no, you have to buy health insurance or we're going to penalize you. So it's not free, it's not universal, it's not coming from Mars or Neptune. It's government-controlled health care where you're not allowed to opt out. Free education. What is free education? It's government schools, government-run schools, indoctrination camps that are you allowed to go to private choice? What's the one thing that these new progressive socialist kids, what do they want to get rid of? School choice, which is private schools. They hate private schools just like they hate. How dare you go? Trump wants to let kids who have to go to government schools go to private schools. That's his whole thing. And I can't vouch for Betsy DeVos, but I don't know if they're doing it properly, but I'm just saying he's trying to let kids who can't afford government schools to go to private schools. Why? Because it's probably better than a government school, which is better than eliminating the other option where you can actually teach people normally without all this bull nonsense. You get what I'm saying? It's all talk, and then when it gets to action, it doesn't work out that way. So people don't think that much. I don't like government schools. I don't want to be forced into a government school, and I don't want every other choice to go away. And someone brought up Brett Weinstein earlier, and I have a buddy who I'm good friends with who's progressive, who went to Evergreen College, which is where Brett Weinstein taught. It's a great college because you're free and it's progressive and you could do whatever, you could teach whatever, and it's fantastic. But progressivism only works when there's a set of rules that make sense. If you don't have a set of rules that make sense where you judge people based on content of character, where you have law and order, where you protect good people, Brett Weinstein is a Jewish man and he should not be discriminated against for being Jewish or lighter-skinned white. But he is at Evergreen College, so he had to leave. Because they don't treat him like, you know what, he's a good guy, regardless of his ethnicity. They look at him like, white man bad, he needs to bow down to me, and that's not a good place. So the school's deteriorating, just like everything progressives deteriorating, because socialism only works if you have a strong set of rules. But what do socialists nowadays want to do? They want no rules, no law, no borders, no cops. It doesn't work. It's never going to work. So I don't want to get too far off course, but the media is running against the president. Like always, they're in overdrive, and the media controls culture. It doesn't matter how many millions of good things. The Asian doctor saved the white woman saved the black man, the gay black guy saved the Asian. These stories don't make it to the news. They don't like positivity, and even the negative stories. The black cop kills a white man. It's not going to make the news. The white cop kills a white guy. It's not going to make the news. The black cop punches a black woman in the face. I saw it on Twitter. It's not going to make the news because they want a specific political, racial, social narrative that they can push, and because they control enough institutions, they have the power with 3 million people dying 2 to 3 million people dying every year from other causes. They have the power to hone in on one whenever they want, ignore millions, and that's where my favorite Malcolm X quote comes from. Malcolm X said, roughly, I don't have it in front of me, the media controls the minds of the masses. They have the power to make the good look bad and the bad look good, or the villain look like the hero and the hero look like the villain. And that's exactly what they do. And he called it all out. He said he would talk very unfiltered about white people, about black people, about Jewish people, about liberals, about conservatives. And he said, they're going to call me anti-Semitic. They're going to call me an extremist. They're going to call me a racist. And they do always. They even did it back then. Why? Because it was unfiltered. He said, I'm going to call it like it is. I don't care what you think about it. And, didn't work out, or did work out. Rather, he's probably more successful now than he ever was, just in people are starting to come around with, we have all this Martin Luther King Day, Martin Luther King, Martin Luther King. Malcolm X is starting to pick up more steam than Martin Luther King because the truth doesn't die. Real doesn't die. The truth will win. And this is the silver lining. I'm not a fan of corporate news, any of it. However, I've said many time and time again, to me, Tucker Carlson is far the best journalist on television. He has progressive socialists on. He gives them a fair shake. Tulsi Gabbard, Jimmy Dore, Glenn Greenwald. He calls out the right wing. He calls out Trump. He calls out Paul Singer. He calls out billionaire donors. He's the real deal. And today the report came in that Tucker Carlson, over the second quarter, got a higher viewer audience than anybody, I believe, in television history. He broke a record. And I told you even last year, when Sean Hannity was the #1 guy, I told you, Sean's okay, but Tucker's the real deal. Tucker is going to age well, and so will Malcolm X, and so will the truth. So that's the silver lining. That's the story of the day. Is the media how they're railing against Trump like always, and also it's deeper than that. They're railing against humanity. They're railing against America. They're railing against people because of their skin color. And if you're a black man like Terry Crews who says, listen, Black Lives Matter, however, I love God and I love everybody, they hate you. And the more people realize that, the better it will be, because we are the majority. Drew Brees, Terry Crews, people who have good hearts and good souls, who just want to, respect people. It's okay to feel that way. You shouldn't ever feel like it's the right move to be a terrible person, or you got to be bullied into like not being a good guy. Be a good person. Do it. You're going to get some backlash, but would you rather get backlash for being a good person and a good soul? It's going to bring the good people towards you. For me, I say what I want when I want, and I've accumulated a group of millions of people, black, white, Hispanic, European, Asian, Indian, African, South American, all over the world, Australia. Good people who just get it. That's what I want. That's the tribe that I want to build. So if you cower to these people, you're going to build a tribe of horrible people, and they're eventually going to come for you because they don't see it as treat people equal. For instance, and then I'm going to get to questions. I remember when LGBT gay wanted to get married in America, and I was in college, and I was like, what's the problem? I don't understand the problem. Like, I was for it. They made me write a paper about it. I was all Obama'd out. I remember Christians and conservatives and pastors would be like, no, I don't agree. They're going to do this, this, and this after it. And I'm like, you guys are crazy. They just want to get married. And it went really quickly. I'm just saying, from LGBT, gay marriage, to LGBTQ, to LGBTQ2AUUP, or whatever the numbers are. And now it's like, you look at the Google header for the day, and it says, this Pride Month, we're celebrating mainly or only, I don't remember what it said, we're celebrating black, trans, people of color, LGBTQ, and then people of color, LGBTQ. So it literally just went from gay and lesbian people want to get married to we're celebrating black gay people. So it's like if you're white and gay, or you're Asian and gay, or you're Native American and gay, and you're Hispanic and gay, I guess you're now lower on the totem pole, and Google wants to exclude you from a month that they claimed was inclusive. These people are Looney Tunes. It's like, if you're going to celebrate Gay Pride Month, it's like American month, but only for these people. No, 4th of July is for any American, Hispanic, Honduran. That's what it's about. 4th of July is for everybody in America. And if you're in Hong Kong, or you're in Iran and you want to celebrate it with us. Happy 4th of July. Let's light a firework off, or have a beer, or don't. Drink some water, or whatever. It's like Pride Month for the LGBT, but only for the black. It's like, who are you people? You guys are like you're the least inclusive people ever. It's like Trump says America, and they're like, he's so racist. No, he's the president of America. It's his job. It's like being the mayor of Los Angeles and being like, we need to change Florida right now. It's like, bro, you're not the leader of Florida. It's not your job. It's not Trump's job. It's America. And they say, we're inclusive, but only for the LGBTQ community, but only for the black LGBT community, but only for the black trans. Your circle is getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. And the more people who realize that they're a small fringe minority that has the megaphone of the big corporation, who acts like they're the majority, and they're gaining steam in some ways because people buy into it. You could love everybody. You don't have to be hateful or judgmental. However, their circle's going to keep getting smaller because they're so nasty. They don't say, hey, you're American, you're in. It's like, black, trans, McDonald's Live Matter. Like, what are you even talking about? It's like, at a certain point, you're not even celebrating your own month. Like, Black History Month, but only for black men. It's like, then it's not Black History Month, it's Black Men History Month. Well, LGBTQ month, but only for certain. Then change the name of the month, and which they probably will. They're never going to stop. These people are out of their minds. So to the Terry Crewses and the Drew Brees, don't be ashamed. Keep going. God-fearing people are behind you, and these are the people you want. For instance, you build your own community. When I was just a lyrical rapper, and I was always rapping lyrically, I always joked, lyrical rappers have the worst fan bases. Why? A lot of times it's mostly men, it's true, but also It's because they expect so much of you. So it's like I would make a lyrical song and they're always so judgmental because they like lyrics. So they're like, that's not, you're a zanned out rapper who just says nothing, or you're talking about alcohol and stuff. No one cares because it's like your bar is not that high. So you could say anything like, that's amazing. So it's like, I always joked and said lyrical rappers have the worst fans. But it's like in general, if I rapped about something and I was this sort of person, I create that sort of audience. And at the end of the day, even I'm joking, like people are like, Anomaly wants to get famous off his music. I don't even rap that much, even though I'm better than 99.9% of these rappers, no offense, but if I drop some heat, it's gonna be some heat. But I don't care because I don't even want those people around me. I want a certain group of people. I want an audience that I like. So it's like for Terry Crews, do you want these like these low energy crabs around you, or do you want, you know, black, Hispanic, white, all God-loving people of the world, or even atheists who know that you're a good guy, to get behind you? It's like, it's okay to go against the mob, because the mob is not a party you want to be at for very long. They're not fun. They cancel everybody. They're screaming. They're just low energy crabs. So that's the choice we have. God bless you guys. Tracy from Canada, God bless you. That's the story of the day. I'll stay around for like 30 minutes, ask some questions. Then I'm going to get some food. Then I'm going to upload this on YouTube. And if you want to see yesterday's live stream, it's on YouTube. If you haven't noticed, or you were wondering when my streams disappear, I take them down. I leave them on here for about 24 hours, sometimes more if I like them more. And I put them on YouTube in my BitChute channel. So watch them on YouTube. If you don't like YouTube like I don't, watch them on BitChute, bitchute.com/dreamrare. You can watch all of my live streams that aren't on here there. I do it for multiple reasons, but just trust me, it's the right move. You can watch the old ones there. Brenda, this is a good question. Brenda said, what are your thoughts on Trump's niece writing a tell-all right before the election? All right, I'm going to tell you a story. I believe his name is Paul Gosar, and I believe he follows me on Twitter. Paul Gosar, I believe, if not, I'm going to say this Republican, I believe from Arizona. He ran for Congress and had like 9 siblings. A bunch of his siblings made a campaign video against him. Why did they make a video against him? Is he this horrible, terrible guy? I watched the ad and I realized his siblings were left-wing. They cared about all the Bernie Sanders type stuff, so they probably hate their brother because they're left-wing and they don't like his right-wing policies. They're willing to turn on their own brother over his politics. With his niece, I can't confirm, but I guarantee you she's into Black Lives Matter. She's left-wing. She thinks he's a horrible guy. Your own family will turn against you nowadays over politics, so I can't confirm that, but, you know, writing a tell-all about Trump, how well does she know Donald Trump? She's his niece. It's not like she's his son or daughter. Yeah, I'm sure she's related to him. She's seen him at holidays, but people are wicked. I would never write a book about my progressive, you know, cousins or anything. I love them. I have cousins that are environmentalists. I'm an environmentalist. I just realized that a lot of the environmental that the climate change people are doing is, in my opinion, counterproductive. They're not planting trees like they used to. They're not cleaning the ocean or cleaning the water. In fact, progressive cities have disgusting water, but that's besides the point. They're fracking in their own cities and covering it up. But anyway, point I'm getting to is I would never do that. But that's what they do. So what do I think about it? I think she's probably a salty liberal who just is unhinged. And it's disgusting to see that your own family will turn on you nowadays, you know? It's your own people that'll hurt you worse than your own enemies sometimes. Someone said BitChute. Just search Anomaly on BitChute, AN0MALY, or Dream Rare. It's the same as my Instagram. DREAMRARE, BitChute.com/DreamRare, Instagram.com/DreamRare, and my email list. Someone said, what happened to your attack on Christianity? I just told you, it's on BitChute and YouTube, so you can find it there. Here's my email list. I'm not going to pin it because I want to see your comments, but stayintouchwithme.com. It's the least annoying email list you'll ever be on. I'm building it up. And one day I'm gonna strike with an email, and you're gonna get an email and be like, whoa, I wasn't expecting that, because Anomaly has the least annoying email list ever. Stayintouchwithme.com. Great name too. I know, thank you. I picked it out myself. But yeah, stayintouchwithme.com. I can't wait to send an email. It's gonna be probably in a month, 2 months. Maybe I'll set up a shop. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll sell something. Maybe I'll have nothing to sell. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. Did you hear about the tracker app with the code? They're tracking everything. It's like, come find me. Do I think the universities will ever turn around? Everything turns around. What comes around goes around. So it all turns around. When will it turn around? How long will it take? I don't know. Whoa, I almost knocked this over. So many salty people. Exactly, Cindy. They're so salty. And there's some people who need salt. You know, some people ran out of their Morton salt and they got all this extra salt and they don't even use it. Look how they turned on the Seattle mayor. Exactly. She couldn't possibly be more progressive. I told you I was watching the news. Jenny Durkin or something, I don't know her name, the progressive mayor, lesbian mayor. I'm watching this black gay kid on the news and he's like yelling at her because she's like turning her back on the gay community. And he's like, she's turning on her own LGBT people. She's turning on us because she did a curfew. I'm like, you think you think the lesbian mayor is anti-gay because she did a curfew? What does a curfew have to do with your sexuality? Like, these people are insane. You know, it's like, I was like, what world are they They're never going to be nice to you because they're not nice people. They're not nice people. You could be the most progressive person ever. They're not, these people are like, you got to control your own people. The right wing at least has, or tries to do, law and order. It's like, they have, you just like, we won't tell, there's no such thing going on. We'll just let them do it and I won't say anything. Say something. It's like, do you want the borders race? No, that's what people, when you have money, you get a fence around your property. Why? Do they do it because they're mean? No, because you can afford to do it. At every apartment complex, they have fences. In areas that are high crime, they have bars on their window. Do they have bars on their window because they want to keep themselves in a jail cell and oppress themselves? No, they have bars on their window because they don't want people to break into their window, and it happens frequently in the community. This stuff is like 3-year-old basic, and they're like, it's all racist unless I do it. It's like, no, it's called security. Every country, house, and place, whether you're low income or high income, everyone has it. I don't even want it. And Tucker did a piece the other day, and he was saying some of these hypocrites who say no police have security because they're afraid. They're like, I'm getting threats from the supremacists, so I need security. If you need security, do you know what the poor people's security is called? It's called the police. That's the free security if you're not wealthy. Only wealthy people can afford a security guard. It's like now they're anarchists when it comes to like police and abortion. Everything else they're communists. They're like, we believe in government control of everything except for police. It's like, okay. Joseph said, I used to enjoy your videos. Now I only watch to laugh at how you become Trump ASS kissing. That's not true. I actually criticized Trump quite thoroughly during the COVID-19 situation, and a lot of Trump supporters got upset with me. It's anomaly. How dare you criticize Trump? He's the best. And I was like, I don't agree with what he did. Even now, this entire live stream, it wasn't even about Trump. It was more about the media and how they're running against him. I barely even talked about him this time. It was mostly in context of what the media does. And when Trump's gone, they'll do it to someone else. So if Trump hurts your feelings, show me on the doll where he hurts you. And then you can use a different name instead of Trump. You could say Blumph, or we could say, Rand Paul, or we could say like Jeremy Schmiggins. We can make up a name that makes you feel better. And then we could run this whole thing back and you could realize what the media is doing. I don't know. I use him because he's the president and it's kind of focal to what's going on. But I appreciate the comment. Someone said, this is the statue they tear down, secure him. Mike said, shut up, Chris. No, don't tell him to shut up. I like a good counter comment. It's fun. Let Chris stay. Let Chris do his thing. He could have been a little nicer, but we all can be. David said, I agree with you. Yeah, a lot of people do. I'm just joking. It's like, obviously you can't please everyone. So it's like, I would expect different people to get upset sometimes. Ed said you would make an excellent Klingon. I never watched Star Trek, so I have no idea what that means. Thank you, maybe, or I'm offended, maybe. I'm not sure yet. I gotta watch Star Trek and figure out what that means. Thank you, Terry. I appreciate you. Ray said people have abbreviated news sources that fit their agenda. Yeah, the news is a mess. What will it take for the media to lose power? I mean, they are losing power. Like I said, Tucker's got the highest ratings, but they always find a way to slither around. Like Stefan Molyneux, like I said, listen, Stefan Molyneux, sometimes I like him, sometimes I don't. He went out of his way to call me a girl. He compared me to a girl from Game of Thrones. He was like, he like retweeted me playing basketball. I think Mike Cernovich retweeted it, and then he saw it and retweeted it, and he was like, he looks like the girl from Game of Thrones or something. He made a girl comment. And, like, everybody ratioed him, and they were like, actually, Anomaly looks really attractive, you know? Like, it was a bunch of, like, hot women saying I look good, and I was like, Stefan, why are you making fun of my hair? You don't even have hair. Which is fine. I would never call him bald. It's fine. But it's like, what are you doing, Stefan? You know? But point I'm getting to is I thought it was funny. Second of all, I never would have called for him to be censored. It's like he's just, like, a guy. He doesn't even get angry. He's always just, like, talking really slow. He just has uncomfortable opinions. He tells women to have babies and stuff. I don't know. Is it really that bad? They deleted his channel, and he had one of the biggest philosophy channels on YouTube. He built it over his entire career, millions and millions of views, and they delete it. This is what they do when they can't control the media. They just censor people. It's like, it's disgusting. On the left wing and the right wing, anybody that's better than them, they're like, delete. I'm better than you now. I have more followers because you deleted his channel. But overall, it's like, what, you know, why does Stefan Molyneux have a problem with me playing basketball? Is he jealous of my crossover? He sees that hair swinging side to side. I got a crossover. He's like, Anomaly looks like a girl from Game of Thrones. I'm like, Stefan, then why is everyone in your comment section being like, no, actually Anomaly looks really good there. He looks, you know, really strong and attractive. And I'm like, listen, it's not all about me, but let's calm down, Stefan, before you get deleted of another social media. And I'm saying I condemn the deleting. I'm just trying to be funny. Thoughts on the armed couple and the possibility of charges? I mean, well, they're Democrats, so that'll probably change them to Republicans real fast. They're getting crazy. I mean, you know, there's a story in Canada, and this is where progressivism leads. The guy, Anomaly is just backing Trump up. No, listen, this is what happens. Doesn't matter. You can call him Blumph. Let's call him Blonald Blumph so nobody gets afraid. We're like, John Oliver's like, Blonald Trump. Whatever. All right, so you go to Canada. This one guy had somebody break in his window or break in his house, stab him in the head. And the guy got up and just killed him with a knife somehow. I'm like, how the heck did that happen? But they sent the guy to jail because they said he had excessive force. Oh, he didn't have to kill him. Someone broke in his house and stabbed him in the head. This is how weak left-wingers are. They're like, I protect the criminal. If someone goes in your house, you should have the right to do that. If somebody's on your property, you should have the right to defend your property. I don't know what they'll do in St. Louis, but this is where left-wingers want to go. They prosecute you for defending yourself. It's all ideology. It has nothing to do with Blonald Blumph. It has everything to do with, let's surround a car with 60 people, and then if they hit me, I'll say it's their fault. It's like, who does that? 2 people watch that video. Half the country watches that video and says, why would they surround the car and beat on the car? Like, I wouldn't have to leave. What if you have a baby in the back of the car? You're going to let a bunch of morons just hit your car? No, you got to drive away and save yourself. And then you have, oh my God, they're so racist. So this is what left-wingers do. It's why I'm not really thrilled with Trump right now. I'm beyond not thrilled with the Republican Party. I think they're pathetic. However, if you want to know why I support Blonald Blumph, the man that you can't stand hearing about, it's because why would I? Everything left wing has just gone to Looney Tunes. They're weak, pathetic. They criminalize you if you defend yourself, and then they bail people who actually commit crimes out of jail. They're wildly unconcerned with the people at the top of the pyramid who are committing the worst crimes that we can't even talk about because they own the media companies. But like, why would I ever support that? It's like, oh, he just Donald Blumps all the time, and I used to like what? I think what they did is totally fine, and if they get charged, it's a result of being in an area that's run probably by Democrats. That's what they do. They charge you if you defend yourself, and they bail horrible people out. They're like, well, the COVID-19's here, so let's bail child molesters out of jail. Why would you do that? COVID-19 happens, so you bail child molesters out of jail, but masks work well, but everyone has to wear a mask, but they also need a glass barrier there, but the cases are up, but the deaths are... It's like exhausting keeping up with these people. Someone said if they touch a Jesus statue, Trump's rolling out the tanks. That's funny. Thank you, Greg. Thank you, Albert. God bless you, brother. Exactly, Chris.